Right on my engagement day, my fiancé demanded 40,000 yuan for a special art photo shoot.
But I had absolutely no idea those photos were a totally private type, requiring her to be completely exposed for them.
When I finally caught them, she was lying right in the photographer's arms, letting him touch her under the excuse of directing poses. He told her, with a figure that gorgeous, she should document it a lot more before the big wedding day.
We can challenge ourselves with even more difficult photo poses. My fiancée, Liu Nuyin, just bowed her head slightly.
Yes, sir. Let me tell my fiancé to transfer a bit more money to me. Right after that, a text message actually hit my phone, demanding another 50,000 yuan.
I want to shoot another photo set with a much higher artistic vibe.
I threw the bouquet I meant to give her straight to the ground and walked away. Seeing that, she texted me, cursing my dark heart, saying I viewed everything as dirty and that I completely insulted the concept of art.
She actually threatened me that if I did not send the cash, she would not even show up at our wedding.
3 months later, she intentionally showed up just to mock me, expecting me to beg her to walk onto the stage and finally finish the marriage ceremony.
But the moment she saw my close friend Huang Wit stepping out instead, she was left completely and utterly stunned.
Be bolder, just a bit bolder. With a figure this beautiful, you have to bravely show it off. Lift your chest a bit. Very good. Very nice. Absolutely beautiful. I had just arrived downstairs at the local photography studio. I already heard the photographer's voice coming down from the top floor, mixed with the shy, blushing laughter of my fiancé, Liu Yuyan.
Liu Yuyan is a quite introverted art student, normally so well-behaved that she blushes if anyone just praises her. I thought to myself, right now she must be blushing so incredibly hard up there.
Thinking about this, I got even more eager to see her. So I quickened my pace, wanting to give her a massive surprise right then and there. Getting close to the stairs, I caught a reflection in the glass, and let me tell you, something felt incredibly off.
Is she really wearing such a tight outfit? Every single line of her body is clearly visible like this.
While I was still wondering, the photographer's voice rang out again. That is right. Spread your legs apart a little bit, then lean your body down slightly.
These curves are truly beautiful. Honestly, out of all the girls coming here for private photos, your figure is easily the absolute best. Plus, there's not even a hint of dark pigmentation at all.
Your fiancé is truly something to be jealous of.
That sentence made my head ring loudly. Private photos. At this point, I was still just thinking of the regular types of photos I normally see floating around online.
I thought to myself, it couldn't possibly be that other kind. Liu Nuyin is very shy and traditional.
We have been together so long without ever being intimate, always renting 2 entirely separate rooms on our trips. Maybe she purely wanted to beautifully record her youth. Nothing more than that?
That must definitely be it. I took heavy steps upward. But just as I was preparing to push that specific door open, a sudden brief gasp made my hand tremble completely.
Through the narrow crack, I saw Liu Nuyin almost totally exposed, wrapped only in a thin, transparent towel, lying right in the lap of the male photographer who was holding the camera.
The guy looked entirely proper, personally posing her with his own hands. One of his hands even grabbed Liu Nuyin's ankle, forcing her to strike a highly seductive pose, while his mouth kept constantly saying this was pure art, a very genuine and profound expression of true beauty.
Liu Nuyin nodded shyly, but her poses got increasingly bolder. In the end, she even completely tossed aside that thin sheer towel without a single shred of hesitation.
My whole body went completely dead still right there. I remembered back when I just couldn't control my emotional urge to go further with Liu Nuyin. She forcefully shoved me away with a truly angry face, completely opposite to her casual attitude of letting this exact photographer freely arrange her body right now. Are you seeing this? Is this really the same person? I absolutely could not believe it. The red bouquet in my hand suddenly looked completely and utterly pathetic to me. The girlfriend I once cherished the most was now lying flat on her stomach in that male photographer's arms, letting him easily pose her however he wanted.
Actually, with a figure this gorgeous, you really should shoot a few more sets.
Look at your best friend. She even shot a very high-tension set with a male model. Wait, can I really shoot together with a male model too? She asked him.
Would that look a bit bad? After all, I am getting married very soon anyway.
The photographer instantly turned stern, acting like her words completely disrespected Art, his face even darkening slightly before he aggressively grabbed his camera to walk away. "What is wrong with you?" she asked.
I watched Liu Nuyin use a pleading expression to grab that man's arm, swaying it playfully. That hand was so incredibly close to her bare skin right then. If I didn't clearly know that I was her actual fiancé, seeing this wild, crazy scene, I would definitely have to question who her real fiancé actually was in this very moment.
I feel like you are insulting art. In art, there is absolutely no difference between men and women at all.
We are all works of art. Every single human body is just a pure work of art.
Saying that, the male photographer directly threw in another line. You study art too. Do you really not understand? Or do you want to challenge yourself just once?
Honestly, those male models all understand the rules very well, and their figures are amazing too.
Your fiancé might not even have this kind of physique. After getting married, you will not dare to shoot anymore. Right now, you are still free, and your soul is free too.
That phrase about a free soul hit Liu Nuyin right in her weak spot. I saw her eyes immediately light up. Knowing her for years, he knows exactly what she is feeling right now. She is absolutely thrilled, completely eager to give this a try. She is practically worshiping this whole art concept, so she gives this hesitant nod like she wants to say no but totally wants to say yes. She asks if she can see some sample photos. The photographer nods, running over to his computer with pure excitement. He tells her to hurry up and pick a style. Our guy's eyes naturally follow her gaze right over there. And on that tiny screen, he sees male and female bodies tangled up in all sorts of crazy, indescribable poses. He definitely does not consider this stuff to be art. Or to put it another way, he just cannot understand this so-called art. But Liu Nuyin actually nods. She gets super excited and calls it absolutely beautiful. Claiming the beauty of the human body is truly the absolute peak of visual art. Hearing a music student say something like that just feels totally ridiculous to him. I mean, back when he went to an art gallery with her and her best friend, she acted like she could not understand those classic nude paintings at all. Yet right here and now, she calls this the peak of art. Turns out, a person's understanding of art can apparently skyrocket in just a really short amount of time. Meanwhile, the photographer chimes right in, piling on endless praise for this so-called art he keeps talking about.
Liu Nuyin, a woman who always claims to be super traditional, is completely soaking up those compliments. Especially when the guy praises her figure, she gets even more overwhelmed with excitement. He tells her this private photo shoot does not come cheap at all, since all the raw files will be handed right over to her anyway. Leaving them here wouldn't feel safe, so naturally, the price goes up quite a bit.
He asks if she is okay with that. Hearing this, Liu Nuyin does not hesitate at all and nods instantly.
She says her fiancé will support her because he loves her so much. He is the one paying for this entire photo shoot anyway. Thinking about how he paid for this, he had assumed she would be shy, so he actually wanted to give her a nice surprise today.
Rushing over right after work. Now he feels like the biggest joke in the world. If he had not seen this today, he never would have believed it. But pay close attention here. The photographer just stares at Liu Nuyin, because right now, she is still, completely unclothed, just sitting there wrapped in a towel. He tells her that her fiancé will definitely love these private photos when he sees them later, since her most beautiful moments will be perfectly captured on camera anyway. He offers to call those male models over so she can take a look. Once she picks who she wants, they can finalize the price. He promises not to make things difficult for her. Liu Nuyin nods, and the photographer walks out to get them. Our guy quickly ducks out of sight.
They do not spot him at all, and he watches the photographer head straight downstairs.
Those male models were apparently already waiting right down there, walking up one by one in short trunks. Their chest and abs are honestly incredibly well defined. He cannot deny that fact, but this whole situation is just way beyond his limits. He glares at them, the furious anger in his chest hitting its absolute breaking point. Honestly, if it were not for saving Liu Nuyin's face, he really wants to kick that door wide open right now and demand some answers. But they have been together for so long, deep down, he just cannot imagine her turning out like this. He drops his head, not even realizing when his eyes had gotten so red. Tears feel completely out of control, threatening to fall. But right before they drop, he holds them back. Maybe she really is just doing this out of pure admiration for herself. He tells himself, this is the woman he loves anyway. He cannot just stop trusting her like this.
Right at that moment, the male models walk up looking hyped. They ask if they are shooting right away and how far this goes. They hope it goes like last time, agreeing that girls who shoot this stuff are pretty open-minded. Yeah, the last girl suddenly got in the mood mid-shoot and even made the first move on them. These models are talking with a shred of decency. The photographer flat out says she is already engaged, practically someone's wife, which makes things even easier.
She has already done several private shoots, covering all those styles he mentioned earlier. He calls her extremely aggressive, and honestly, very easy, claiming he has never seen a woman easier than her. After hearing that, as a guy himself, our main character understands that filthy look better than anyone else. You can literally feel the tension right here. His hands burn, wanting to smash that door open and drag Liu Nuyen away. He would rather believe she got tricked than see her insulted.
But before he can even push the door, he hears Liu Nuyen's voice, asking if it is them and if they are shooting today.
Her tone is completely packed with unstoppable excitement. The photographer then asks her a simple question. Does she need all of these guys? He watches Liu Nuyen give a firm nod. In that split second, every single excuse he tried to invent to defend her completely vanishes into thin air. Probably everyone else is having a great time, except for him. The photographer immediately starts calculating the final cost. Shortly after, the guy prints out an invoice. Liu Nuyen does not hesitate at all and just pays the deposit straight up. After a quick chat, the photo shoot officially kicks off. He watches their movements. That very first pose is something he can still somewhat accept. He keeps telling himself this is just art. He really cannot overthink things right now. But that next move of hers, I just couldn't take it anymore. It completely crossed every single line I had. The bouquet slipped right out of my hands and hit the floor. The sound wasn't loud, but Liu Nuyen's eyes met mine perfectly. I honestly thought she saw me.
I am her fiancé. For all these long years together, I treated her like an absolute goddess, placing her on the highest pedestal you could ever imagine.
I even demanded that everyone around me treat her with that exact same level of respect. So why was she suddenly kneeling down in front of someone else, another man, no less? And she definitely saw me. Why did she just turn her head away, completely ignoring my very existence? In that exact moment, my heart just completely shattered. I softly called out her name. Pretty much everyone around heard it, but she just completely pretended like she heard nothing at all. Right after I called out to her, Liu Nuyen actually sat right down on another guy's lap. I couldn't bear to watch a single second more. I smashed the expensive perfume I bought for her, tossed the flowers, and turned to leave. I thought she would show a tiny bit of worry, but she didn't even call out once. Just watched me in silence, all along the way back. Every single step brought back the image of her in someone else's arms. I remembered the exact look she gave me, not an ounce of respect in her eyes.
The person I always thought of as a pure, noble flower, turns out she was only acting high and mighty with me. I genuinely saw her as absolute class.
Whenever my friends told me it was pretty weird that she wouldn't even let me touch her, they said people in love can't resist physical affection. I always argued back, defending her so fiercely. But now, that whole defense just feels incredibly pathetic to think about. Right then, a text from my close friend Huyen Guet popped up. Are you with the future wife? The crew pitched in and bought a welcome gift for her. For years, you wouldn't even bring her around for us to officially meet.
Now that you're getting married, we all chipped in for a brand new piano. Reading what those guys did, in that exact moment, I suddenly burst out crying.
Honestly, growing up, I rarely ever shed a tear. I always thought a crying man would just make people look down on him. Plus, my dad raised me with absolute iron discipline. If I cried, the beating would just get 100 times worse. Everyone who came from our big old neighborhood block seemed a little rough around the edges, so naturally, Liu Nuyen totally looked down on my friends too. A while back, she glanced at a photo of my really close buddy, Huyen Guet.
Then she sneered for a bit and sent it straight to her best friend so they could judge her together. The final verdict they reached? They decided my close friend was a total snake and told me to never hang out with her again.
She told me if I kept hanging out with Huyen Guet, she would break up with me.
She absolutely refused to swallow that kind of frustration. after hearing her say that. I never dared to bring up the meeting ever again.
And Hu Nguyen kind of caught on to something through my changing attitude. Once I started dating, she and the rest of the crew just vanished.
You can imagine my surprise, right? I never expected Hu Nguyen and the guys to drop their out-of-town jobs and return for my wedding unannounced.
I quickly fired off a text. "Where is everyone right now? I miss you guys so much."
They replied incredibly fast, instantly dropping an address for the Tom Gwen bar. I immediately caught a cab and headed straight there.
As soon as I arrived, Hu Nguyen was in casual clothes, totally destroying a guy at the next table in a drinking contest. When she drinks, she goes all out.
The whole crowd was cheering loudly, and the louder they got, the more she drank. By the end, her opponent had to fully surrender.
She stumbled back to her seat, asking why our guy hadn't shown up yet. Did his future wife actually forbid him from coming?
Text him, guys. If she said no, then just drop it. We really don't want them fighting right before the wedding just because of us.
Who said I wasn't coming? You were just too busy drinking with strangers to notice me. Hu Nguyen spun around, saw me, and immediately rushed right over.
Hey, Kern, you are super late, so you gotta take a penalty shot. Did the future wife not come with you?
I nodded quietly. Hu Nguyen looked a little awkward, let go of my arm and sat down pretty far away. Wait, it wasn't because of me, right?
I am really not that kind of toxic snake, I swear. I seriously meant nothing by it. She muttered that, angrily chugging down another mouthful of alcohol.
Oh, here's the gift for your bride. She actually prepared her own separate present. A really nice piece of jewelry worth 10,000 yuan.
I told you back then I'd get a huge gift when you married. Money's kinda tight lately, so this will just have to do.
While we were talking, my phone suddenly buzzed with a new text. It was a message from Liu Nguyen.
She had zero intention of asking where I was. Just a text demanding 150,000 yuan, saying she was doing a photo shoot.
I knew that money was just to pay those male models, so I didn't send her a single dime. Much later, she stormed straight into the bar.
Now get this. She walked right up, slapped me hard across the face, and yelled, "Ignoring my text so you can secretly meet your tomboy friend here, right?"
You pathetic snake. I am marrying him, and you still won't let go. Smack! A vicious slap landed straight across Hu Nguyen's shocked face.
She arrogantly pointed at both of us, calling us absolute trash. Then, Liu Nguyen pointedly warned me right then and there.
She flat out said if that 150,000 yuan wasn't transferred immediately, she would skip our wedding entirely. Hearing that, Hu Nguyen bullockly stood up.
150,000, right? You guys hurry up and chip in for him. I still have a few tens of thousands in my savings. I hold Hu Nguyen back tightly, asking her to just do me one favor. She gives a firm nod.
She sighs. Aren't I already helping you right now? Marriage really isn't some silly joke, so stop trying to act like those dramatic novel protagonists.
You have to go coax your wife, she insists, urging me to hurry. Even with her face swollen from being hit, Hu Nguyen actually tries pushing me out the door to go explain things to Liu Nguyen.
But honestly, I just do not want to step outside anymore. Deep down in my heart,
I am just completely done with that woman. The guys panic. No way, Kakurn, what are you even thinking? You can't just stay inside right now.
What if something happens to your wife this late at night? The rest of my friends immediately chime in, trying to talk some sense into me.
In that exact moment, I feel genuinely awful for dragging them into this mess. Liu Nguyen was the one girl I spent so much time and money chasing. She was supposed to be my untouchable goddess, the literal center of my entire world.
because of that, I always blindly followed every single word she said.
That obsession meant I basically vanished from my friends' lives for a really long time. Plus, Hu Nguyen literally just took a beating because of me, leaving me utterly consumed by this massive wave of guilt.
I pull the guys back, telling them to just completely ignore her for today. What happens between us is strictly our own business. It has nothing to do with you guys. We haven't hung out in forever, so let's just enjoy tonight. After everyone knocks back a few strong drinks, Hu Nguyen and I finally sit down together. We actually haven't seen each other at all since that big 18th birthday party. I can clearly tell she has grown a little distant, actively keeping her walls up around me. I just let out this bitter little laugh, silently mocking my own sheer stupidity over the past few years. I give a quick rundown of today's mess, skipping the gross details of how Liu Nguyen posed for those photos. Halfway through, Hu Nguyen slams the table and jumps up. Hold on. Regardless of whether your fiancé is completely out of line here,
That photo studio is definitely sketchy, and we have to make absolutely sure she is actually safe right now.
Plus, if you just hand over the cash, will they even delete the original files? You need to pay them in person and literally watch them wipe the drives yourself.
Her pretty face is literally still bruised and swollen, and yet she's somehow still putting someone else's safety first.
Feeling completely embarrassed, I quietly ask, "She literally hit you, so aren't you even a little bit mad at her?"
She shrugs it off, saying women just naturally get jealous. If she were in that position and saw us sitting together, she would probably throw a punch too. A little slap is nothing, she insists. Grabbing her coat, she drags me and the guys straight toward that photo studio. Along the way, the guys actually manage to pool together enough cash.
They tell me to just talk things out calmly, hand over the money, and personally watch them delete every single original photo.
I give them a nod. Honestly, by the time we head back, my mood has lightened up quite a bit. But halfway there, my phone suddenly buzzes with a new message from Liu Yuyin.
Now watch this. I open it, planning to say I'm on my way. Instead, staring back at me are these incredibly private photos of her wearing the exact custom wedding dress I ordered for her, and the dress itself is completely ruined, stained absolutely beyond recognition. She just typed out one simple line. The wedding dress is already destroyed.
Since you refuse to pay up and can't appreciate my art, the wedding is entirely off. And right there in the reflection, you can clearly see the silhouettes of several other men.
I just stand there, frozen in place, my jaw practically twitching with anger. The guys shout out, "Hey, what's wrong? Why did you suddenly stop walking?"
Hương steps up right beside me and catches a glimpse of the message. She gasps, "No way, this is way too far. Why is there a whole group of guys in there? What are they even doing? Didn't you go through absolute hell just to get this custom wedding dress imported all the way from overseas?"
It was personally crafted by her absolute favorite designer in the world. Hương Nguyen knows the entire backstory behind it perfectly well.
Because back then, just to give Liu Nuyen the absolute perfect surprise, I secretly searched everywhere just to track down that specific designer's private contact information.
The truth is, that designer had stopped taking custom orders ages ago, basically living in semi-retirement.
But I clearly remembered Liu Nuyen saying that if she could wear a dress from this specific creator on her wedding day, she would be the happiest woman alive.
I just wanted her to be happy. So I personally flew overseas and practically begged the designer multiple times to take the job. I actually almost got into some really serious trouble abroad a few times during the trip, forcing me to beg Huang Wei's security firm to send over a few professional bodyguards just to keep me completely safe. After all, I just don't trust outsiders very easily. I literally drained almost all of my company's available cash flow from the past few years just to pay for this single wedding dress. To finally be able to marry this girl, I had absolutely given it my everything. And the payoff? Just for some so-called private photo shoot? She completely trashes the dress I sacrificed everything for, and then has the nerve to threaten to cancel the entire wedding on me. You'll be fine having a wedding all by yourself, right? I just stare at the awful message, not even bothering to reply.
I slowly look up at Hương Nguyệt, and she instantly reads my mind. She warns me to think carefully. If I actually help you do this, how are you going to explain it to her later?
Do you two even want to spend the rest of your lives together anymore? If you still can't let her go, it is probably best if we all march over there right now and help you clear this whole mess up.
I just shake my head. The only reason the wedding ceremony can't be canceled is because I've already tied several massive business contracts directly into the event.
Liu Nuyen knows perfectly well. I already told her I went into debt for this wedding, so I really need these business deals to pull my capital back. That is exactly why canceling the wedding isn't an option. But a wedding without a bride? Also impossible.
Right now, Huan Wet is the only person by my side that I can completely trust. Plus, our parents actually know each other, making things pretty convenient. I just don't know if she's still willing to help me out.
I look at Huang Wet nervously.
Huang Wet just says one thing. We are bros, so I will definitely help you out with this. But I hope you talk things out with your fiancé.
If she still refuses, I will absolutely step in to save your wedding. I nod. I know exactly what kind of person Huang Wet really is. Because of her strict family upbringing, she is incredibly serious about these things. Later that exact same day, I send another message to Liu Nuyen. I ask her out to a coffee shop so we can finally have a clear talk about this whole private photo issue.
After hitting send, I am honestly feeling pretty restless. I have no idea how things will play out, but I definitely didn't expect her to just ignore me. Absolute radio silence.
In the end, she even completely blocks my number. At that exact moment, I lose all motivation to ever talk to her again.
So she goes totally unreachable, which is fine. But you won't believe this. Her best friend, Jang Lo, comes looking for me instead.
Originally, Wan Yet and I had already discussed rearranging things for the upcoming wedding, and we even went ahead and informed both of our parents.
My parents' stance is basically to just let me decide. Whoever I like will be my bride, so they do not try to interfere too much.
As for Huang Wet's parents, they just asked one question: favor or real marriage? Huang Wet firmly insisted it is just helping out.
Out of respect for both families, her parents didn't say anything else, so Huan Yuet and I finally start the wedding preparations together.
This is the very first time I feel like marriage is actually meant for two people. From invitations to confirming the venue and the guest list, we discuss absolutely everything.
That day, I take Huang Wet to the hotel to double-check the catering menu. We are right in the middle of eating when the door suddenly swings open.
Jang Lo walks in smiling. "Oh, my girl Yu Nu Yen isn't going to be your bride anymore, and you're still sitting here preparing for a wedding?"
Honestly, a big boss like you won't even spend 150,000 yuan? Or do you just not know how to appreciate real art? While saying this out loud,
She just sits right down across from me, pulls out her phone to open her photo album, and starts showing me all these artistic photos she's taken. She scrolls for a little bit, then straight up reveals her own highly private, revealing pictures. In that moment, I immediately look away. Jiang Lo just laughs again and tells me, "Honestly, Kak Young, this is just a form of photography. It is really nothing serious."
The photographer barely touched me. Absolutely nothing happened, so do not let it bother you too much.
You're not just preparing this wedding to get married. You're doing it for those massive business contracts too.
if you really end up without a bride, that is a huge loss for you. You might as well. I just shake my head. Whether she wants to come or not is on her.
Hearing this, Jiang Lo acts like she just hit the jackpot, immediately leaning closer. Well, if that's the case, isn't your grand wedding missing a bride right now?
How about I help you out? We can just fake the wedding, and you pretend to marry me. In that exact moment, I honestly just burst out laughing.
I really didn't expect this from Jiang Lao. Normally, whenever Liu Nuyen and I argue, she spends all day talking pure trash behind my back. Every single time we fight and talk about breaking up, she constantly adds fuel to the fire. And now, watch this. She claims she wants to help me, marry me, and throw a whole wedding together?
Hearing these ridiculous words actually makes Huang Wet,
who is usually super chill, laugh completely out loud, meaning your bestie isn't coming, so you just want to replace her?
Your so-called friendship is seriously so incredibly fake. Who even does something like that in real life? Plus, it's definitely not your turn anyway. I already agreed to be his bride.
You are way too late. What? Jiang Lo immediately jumps straight to her feet, pointing right at Huan Wet, who still has her short tomboy hair. A pathetic woman like you. You're this ugly and you still dare to step up? You really are a damn green tea bitch. I wasn't wrong about you before.
Saying that, Jiang Lao points right at me. You'd really rather choose someone looking like this over picking me. Am I not way better than Liu Nuyen?
my figure, my looks, where exactly do I fall short? You not choosing me is absolutely ridiculous.
And now, with a woman who literally looks exactly like a man, you want to hold a wedding with her instead? Those harsh words leave Huang Wet caught between laughing and crying.
Even though she has heard plenty of pretty mean comments like that over the years, being criticized this ruthlessly by another woman is something she definitely cannot just stand for.
She immediately calls security to drag her out of there. Even as Jiang Lo leaves, she is still absolutely furious.
Let me tell you right now, Kak Kwang, if you actually hold a wedding with this pathetic woman, you're going to completely regret it later.
Huang Wet and I just go back to discussing the upcoming wedding. But not long after Jiang Lo leaves, she actually has the nerve to text me. If she hadn't messaged me right then, I honestly would have completely forgotten to block her number. Kak Kwang, are you truly not going to even?
Consider me? I will definitely be so much more obedient than Lu Nuyen. And besides, I am completely fine with intimacy before marriage.
Do you want to come over tonight? She sends me a hotel address and actually attaches a fully nude photo of herself, right along with it.
In that moment, I just feel absolutely disgusted. I obviously know a lot of guys out there who cannot keep their hands to themselves.
I am no saint, But this kind of behavior is just completely shameless. The one who originally dragged Liu Nuyin to take those photos back then was actually her.
Then, after noticing the conflict between me and Liu Nuyin, the one who swooped in to steal her was still her. Furthermore, while I pursued Liu Nuyin, Zhang looked at me like I was just some annoying eyesore.
If my career had not successfully taken off later down the line, she would still treat me like some pet dog to be called and shooed away at will, bossing me around right alongside Liu Nuyin.
I take a quick screenshot before blocking her entirely and dropped a picture straight into my old close friend group chat.
This exact chat had been completely dead silent ever since I started dating Liu Nuyin. She never allowed it and would randomly check my phone, so I basically could not say a single word.
But right now, I simply do not care anymore. The second I hit send, massive question marks start flooding in from all my bros.
They ask if our former sister-in-law got set up. Not just a maybe set up, they say she was definitely trapped for sure. That supposed best friend never had good intentions from the very start. Just look, why wouldn't she tell our sister-in-law the truth? They figure that photo studio is probably not a decent place either. Right at this moment, my cyber police buddy cannot hold back and drops a message in the chat, which turns out to be a massive resource file.
At this point, Hoongwit speaks up, sounding pretty impatient, asking why someone is sharing resource files at a time like this.
One guy jokes about him being too professional, still taking care of everyone this late.
Everyone keeps tossing around silly jokes. Meanwhile, I quietly open up that resource folder because I know this specific friend of mine is generally not the type to joke around.
I shoot straight up out of bed the second I open it.
Now, pay attention to this reveal. The file is filled entirely with Liu Nuyin's private photos, explicitly titled White Queen Theater, pure white married lady, willingly distributing herself, covering absolutely every possible angle.
And since Liu Nuyin clearly took these completely voluntarily, her gaze looks even more seductive and inviting. This makes all the comments underneath incredibly disgusting to read. After finishing them, I directly shoot back a quick message.
The other side replies extremely fast. This is just what they intercepted today. There is way more, proving that Photo Studio definitely has some serious issues going on behind closed doors.
Plus, there are way too many photos and videos of our sister-in-law to send at once. He just drops a website link and tells everyone to go look for themselves.
After everyone finishes looking, the group chat falls dead silent because there are also several video clips and actual recorded conversations. The conversations in those clips are just totally unacceptable to me. I fundamentally cannot even stomach listening to the rest. Hearing all that, any tiny lingering illusion left inside my heart vanishes completely. I stare at an old photo of me and Liu Nuyin, feeling absolutely sick to my stomach.
I stay awake the entire night, going through and deleting every single picture I took with Liu Nuyin, one by one. The very next morning, I tidy myself up a bit and start getting fully ready for the wedding happening today. Right after Hoongwit and I finish our first rehearsal run, she suddenly gets a call from Liu Nuyin. The first word out of her mouth is homewrecker. Hoongwit directly hands the phone straight to me. I am about to teach Liu Nuyin a harsh lesson when I hear the sound of her crying heavily. She begs her husband to come save her at the photo studio, pleading for him to just make the trip. She says she is begging me. I feel slightly suspicious.
Shouldn't she call the cops right now? I tell her straight up that I will just help call the police.
As a result, she hastily shouts out, "Do not call the police, whatever you do." She says if I call the cops, her life is completely over. Because of this reaction, I drive over to the photo studio with my bros, feeling completely full of doubt. The front door is firmly locked. Lights are clearly on inside, but they refuse me entry. Hoongwit looks closely, then tells me to step aside. She pulls out a thin steel wire, and in a flash, the padlock clicks open. My bros and I walk in the back, letting the girl take the lead.
Hoongwit is actually super good at fighting, so we feel pretty reassured. Right as we reach the door, we clearly hear Liu Nuyin loudly crying.
She cries out, "No, I really cannot do this. I cannot shoot anymore. Can you please just delete the original files?"
She asks, didn't she already pay off all the photography fees? So why are they forcing her to shoot more when she is sick? Hearing this, Hoongwit loses her patience entirely and kicks the door flying. You won't believe this chaotic scene. I follow right behind and see Liu Nuyin bound tightly to a chair. Cameras are pointing everywhere at her, surrounded by a messy crowd of extremely sketchy male models.
I instantly catch on and yell, "Do you guys believe I will call the police right now?" The lead photographer acts insanely confident. He smirks and says, "If I actually call the cops, my girlfriend will be the very first one thrown into prison."
He asks if I want to see the recent footage she shot. He claims it is incredibly beautiful.
Liu Nuyen grabs my arm, crying that they forced her to shoot. She thought paying over 100,000 would end it, but deleting the originals required even more money.
She says she really did not have enough money and did not want to bother me, so she ended up borrowing cash from Zhang Lo. She never expected they were actually working together. This debt kept growing larger and larger. She just couldn't pay it off. And now the photos are leaked everywhere. She fears her workplace will find out. The more she talks, the more she breaks down. I remove my jacket and drape it over her shoulders.
When the photographer steps forward, I immediately launch a heavy kick right at him. But unexpectedly, Huang Wet steps in and stops me entirely.
She says, "Do not fight. Let me handle it." Huang Wet does not explain her next move, just tells us to leave first. I take Liu Nuyin to the hospital.
That is when I finally find out Liu Nuyin is actually pregnant. She cries her eyes out, completely devastated, but the doctor tells her she cannot get rid of the baby.
Her body is already in no condition for a safe pregnancy, and ending it now would trigger a massive, incredibly dangerous medical emergency.
Plus, never being able to have a child again is not even the worst part. The doctor says she would likely lose her uterus entirely if they proceed.
Liu Nuyin just keeps crying, completely speechless. Then, almost as if she suddenly remembers I am even there, she asks if I am still going to stay with her.
She promises to still show up at the wedding, swearing she will be a good partner to me, and even offering physical intimacy.
She says she will accept anything. I just look straight at her and tell her my bride is Huang Wet, not her.
She shakes her head, insisting I only went to Hua's Wit because she was not around. She claims I have always loved her, calling herself my shining star and my very first love. She asks how I could be so cruel over a tiny bump in the road. She even suggests I should just pretend she dated someone else, got betrayed, and accidentally got pregnant.
Would that make me feel better? She wonders. Hearing her actually say those words out loud, I honestly cannot hold back a bitter, loud laugh.
I have absolutely no idea how she could even come up with such a ridiculously absurd explanation.
Besides, no matter how much I once cared, there is simply nothing left to do. I tried convincing myself countless times from the start, but every single time, she would completely cross my absolute bottom line.
I am just totally helpless now.
I really cannot keep playing the absolute fool in love forever, constantly forgiving things that I personally find completely and utterly unacceptable time and time again.
Faced with her ridiculous words, all I can really do is ignore her. But somehow, she still thinks I am just throwing a temporary angry tantrum right now. Later on, while I am busy preparing for the wedding, she constantly stalks my social media posts just to come and harshly criticize me. She complains that she already said she liked garden venues, asking why I still picked an old hotel, and wondering if her hints were not clear enough. When I remind her that I am not marrying her, she gets furious and threatens me. She says if I keep talking like that, she will make me taste what it feels like to lose her forever. That exact sentence makes me unbelievably angry, mainly because the last time she ever said those words to me was during her terrifying airplane accident.
Back then, I waited frantically for any news about her flight, staying awake for 3 whole days without sleeping a single wink.
You see how manipulative that is, right? I told her back then I never wanted to feel that loss again. To think she would use it now. I just smile, saying nothing.
After that little stunt, I stopped posting completely on social media. On the actual wedding day, both my parents and Huizen Wet's parents show up super early.
The only thing I really do not expect is this. I clearly informed Liu Nuyen's parents beforehand that our wedding was completely called off. I am marrying someone else today, yet they still show up. I walk over, keeping things very polite, telling them they can grab a seat at that far table. They ask why the bride's parents are not allowed at the main table. I just shake my head at their sheer delusion. Everything between Liu Nuyin and me ended a long time ago. She is not the bride today. But they refuse to listen, calling me stubborn because their daughter said otherwise.
They tell me to stop acting out since it is the wedding day, claiming they will forgive me this once. Then they literally just invite themselves to the main table.
I am about to step in and stop them, but then I see Liu Nuyan's parents deliberately snatching the corsages right off Hui's parents' chests. I am absolutely furious. Just as I am about to march over there, Huiya gently pulls me back. This is a wedding. She says we can handle all this drama after the ceremony and should not ruin our main event now. I nod, watching Huiya carefully putting her makeup on.
I smile, joking about how she never wore makeup as a kid and acted so boyish that I genuinely thought she was a real boy.
Huiya does not say a word, just quietly looking at our reflection together in the mirror, before finally letting out a long, heavy sigh. I honestly have no idea why she looks so unhappy right now. Maybe it is because she is only helping me out and this is not her actual dream wedding.
I feel a bit guilty and am just about to apologize when my buddies suddenly walk in.
The second they enter, their expressions are super weird. Feeling pretty confused, I follow them outside, where one guy grabs my arm. He says my crazy ex-girlfriend is here, causing a massive scene.
I step outside and immediately spot Liu Nuyan. She angrily asks what my deal is, getting married without even picking her up.
Just listen to this absolute madness. She asks if I expect them to arrive alone, wondering if I am still mad. She warns me, Kakun, this is her final time tolerating me.
She threatens that if I stay like this after marriage, I should watch out for a fast divorce.
Finishing her little speech, she playfully tries to lean in for a kiss. I quickly dodge her, telling her to back off. She snaps, asking if I still want to marry my tomboy friend.
She claims we have not even registered our marriage yet because she checked. Plus, she insists I do not even like Huiya and that I secretly still love her.
Saying that, Liu Nuyan steps closer, grabbing my arm, and aggressively demands to know where the makeup room is so she can go inside.
I shove her away hard. I tell her we are completely and utterly finished. Today, I am absolutely marrying Huiya no matter what.
I am completely serious. She can say whatever she wants about me, but during this whole wedding prep, I finally realized she never actually loved me before.
To her, I was simply just a convenient guy she could easily boss around. Honestly, I felt it back then too, but it was a love I fought so hard to get. I never wanted it to end, so I just kept lying to myself. But while actively preparing for this real wedding with Huiya, I finally discovered true love.
I realized this feeling between Huiya and me bloomed out of nowhere. I have to admit, being completely adored like this is pretty intoxicating.
I absolutely cannot deny how much I felt her genuine affection, and honestly, I am completely ready to accept it.
We are both completely single and independent right now anyway, so I am taking this wedding very seriously. I even set up a private romantic moment to properly confess my feelings to Huiya.
We are officially tying the knot. I shove Liu Nuyan away. Game over. I made it clear we can never be together again.
Plus, I am officially marrying Huiya, the fully legal, permanently registered kind.
The second I say that, Huiya, who is about to change out of her dress, rushes over and hugs me tight. She says yes. Liu Nuyan just cries from sheer anger. You will not believe this. Even after the whole wedding wrapped up, Liu Nuyan still thought I was joking. She literally yelled out that she refuses to divorce. As for her, we seriously did everything we could. Huiya herself actually stepped up and helped her sort out that messy photo studio situation. I paid the financial compensation myself. What more does she want? After the wedding, we moved to Huiya City, staying far, far away from Liu Nuyan. At first, she actually kept stalking me online, but I deleted every single trace. After that, she finally stopped trying to contact me for good. Word is, after having her kid, she ended up marrying some young art student.
I do not ask about her anymore. This whole marry first, love later journey with Huiya is wonderfully sweet right now. We will stay this incredibly happy forever.